Hello, my loves. A few weeks ago, I received a request to speak about Divine Feminine's time of celibacy. And I've sat with it, and I'm guided to talk to you about this from a few different perspectives. One, why you may be experiencing it right now and the importance of it, but also how it really stems back to the original core wound and the sacred feminine reclaiming her creation sovereignty. Okay. So, right now, when we're talking about now in this life, in this incarnation, when you've connected with your divine masculine and then you've gone into a period of being alone in the physical world and separation, or however you experience this, and then you find yourself as a divine sacred feminine in a time of being in celibacy, whether it's by choice or whether it's just the external experience that is presenting itself. Like you may be feeling blocked in connecting with another intimate partner. And like I said, many of you have actually opted to choose this path. But regardless of the experience, it is very, very important because in this time of celibacy is where the divine sacred feminine is reclaiming her true energetic, creative power and sovereignty. Again, so you think of it as purifying your sacred sexual energy so that you're restoring it back to your original true essence so that you can align with your highest timeline and your sacred union energy. Okay. And part of why this is so important because the feminine is the receiver and the sacral chakra is where creations are birthed. We see this within human children being birthed, right? But it's even broader than that. This is the creation center and the space of creation where you actually start to create, build, and manifest the life that you're wanting to experience with awareness. Okay. But when we were not aware of this and we were just creating from the energy that we were born into, that was when you experience more of the uncomfortable parts of life or where you might feel stuck or frozen in your experiences because you're actually creating from the ancestral information versus your own soul information. That's one thing. So as you're learning to thaw and unravel and retrieve and exit those patterns, you're making space for your true essence and your true soul creations. Okay. And another part is when you were with intimate partners in this life, as a feminine, you are in the position of being the receiver. And so you're actually receiving the information from this other person that you're being intimate with. And for this instance, we're going to speak about receiving from a masculine, where you're actually receiving the masculine's essence, energy, and even in many cases, his DNA. So you're receiving all of that information. And that is where you're co creating your reality together, whether it's in a partnership, a situationship, or just that general exchange, regardless of what you are or did intend for that exchange to be, at the energetic level, you were intimate and received that masculine's information. And so, as a feminine, you became energetically responsible for processing that information, whether you were aware of it or not. And so, you took that information in. And this is one of the ways where sometimes people feel that they still have a pull or a connection to a past relationship. Those intimate connections do create those threads. It is the most intimate form of energetic exchange that you can have in the physical form and not something to be taken lightly. So when you're calling in and wanting to align with a true divine sacred union, there comes a time where this old information from other past lovers or intimate situations are needing to be purified out of your system. This is a different level. And in some cases, even if you were with your divine counterpart, but you were both in states of trauma or needing to process out of old trauma patterns, you also took in that information. And so you're going to be processing through that as well. This is my understanding with this process. Okay. So that is just the current states, that it's very important that if you're wanting that sacred partnership, that this purification process is essential to you clearing the old information, clearing the old patterns, and restoring your creation center to your own sovereignty and what you're wanting to create. Also, it gives you this space and time to get to know yourself, to get to know your actual creative abilities. And you're pouring that essence and energy and creation energy and sexual energy back into yourself, which is going to support your creations. It's going to restore your physical, emotional, and spiritual health as you purify. And this is a very important part of the process, because as you're stepping into your true power, in your true capabilities, in your true essence, you actually start to learn how to wield and work with your own true powers and your true creation abilities. And this is necessary not only for you to build the life that you're wanting, and being responsible for your own life and your own creations, but also wielding your true power and essence so that you can show up in your ability to match your twin flame divine counterpart sacred union partnership. Okay. And you're also sending out the signal of your true soul essence versus the information of past lovers or past trauma or ancestral patterning. Okay. This is, like I said, again, the purification process is important. And so, as you're in this state of celibacy, it can be helpful to do physical detoxes, emotional detoxes, spiritual detoxes, get yourself some support if necessary, really working to clear these patterns. I know many of you have already been in these processes, and this is confirming for you the importance of this, because it does have a very significant purpose. Okay. And it also goes deeper, again, like I said at the beginning of this, back to the core wound. So when the core separation wound occurred, and you felt that disconnection from your twin flame divine counterpart and or your higher self, that energy of feeling alone and fallen and scared and in trauma came up into your system. And what happened was, that was when everyone, in my understanding that I've seen, started to try to fill those wounds in with other relationships, other connections, other experiences, trying to find and restore back to the truth. But a lot of confusion energy came into the system that wasn't actually the true core soul essence. Also, at the time of these original separations, like I've spoken about in the Atlantis Lemurian fall, many of the feminines and many of, like, we were taken and were siphoned from, and their creation center and their birthing creative abilities were used in a lot of experimentation. And so there is a lot of that soul retrieval that's wanting to happen. And there, with that abuse and that use and the energies that were occurring within that, many of the sacred feminines hid their own creation powers, not only from the world, but even in many instances from themselves, because there was so much trauma around birthing children that were not being birthed out of an energy of love, or were sort of hybrids or experimenting with energies. And this was very, very painful for the divine sacred feminines on many levels, not just with the fact that she was essentially being used and in a form of energetic rape, but also um, birthing a child that she, of course, by her natural nature would want to have a connection to, but in those experimental states would not be in a position to do so because it was a painful, traumatic experience. With this pocket specifically, I'm talking about I have connected with many different feminines who have either wanted children this life and were unable to, or tried to and had a lot of issues with it, or had repetitive miscarriages, or just did not want children at all. Not that they don't care for children. Actually, many of them all have a very deep love and reverence for children, but have found that their work was much more in a different direction and supporting children on the planet in a different way. And so these are some of the things that are coming up. I'm bringing this up because from what we are seeing on the world stage, especially here in the States, it is the mirror back to that original core wound where women's reproductive rights are on the world stage for conversation. And it's bringing up a lot of triggering and a lot of different topics, yes, for the current circumstances we're in, but it's also very emotionally heightened because it is going all the way back to this core wound where not only the feminines lost their rights or their creative powers, but the masculines did as well. But for this feminine message, this is what we're speaking about. And so, this time that you find yourself in a state of celibacy, there is very, very, very deep healing occurring. Okay, my loves, all the way back to that core wound, all the way back to restoring your sovereign energy and essence. In this retrieval of your true essence is the priority. Okay. I know that it's also in your natural nature to want to share intimacy and love with another. And this portion and time of celibacy is actually what is assisting and supporting you with aligning you with that true sacred union energy that you've truly been craving versus the in and out or the connections that might have pieces and parts of what you want but aren't necessarily showing you everything that you're wanting and deserving. And this purification and celibacy process is where this occurs. This is also an important time that sends and shares a very important signal to the divine sacred masculine counterpart as well. When the feminine is going through this very deep healing process, because this is healing at a cellular level. This is healing in the energetic levels. This is healing the energies for internal union because the feminine is showing up for herself and caring for all of those parts of herself. And this includes showing that self respect for herself, which in turn, the divine sacred masculine feels those energies as well. And I know that it can be a point of contention where many of the feminines are in a state of celibacy and they're experiencing or witnessing their masculine counterpart being in intimate relationships and having a very active sexual life. And it can be triggering, but this is part of that mirroring that is being healed within the system when you look at it at the energetic levels. And as the sacred feminine is healing, and as she's restoring to her true energetic creative powers, this sends powerful signals to the masculine. And over time, it will support his system within healing, within those shared spaces, within that shared information. And it actually strengthens the power and the signal of the sacred feminine's essence and true core soul energy, which is going to be the most attractive energy and signal to her counterpart. Okay, so over time, it actually does support the masculine in his own sacred sexual energetic center healing, which again is going to be different than the sacred feminines, but it will allow his energy to be healed and cleaned up as well. I may do a whole other video around divine masculines because they have also been siphoned from and distracted away from their true creation abilities as well. And theirs was often by being distracted with, you know, hypersexual energies that actually distract them away from their heart and away from their power and keep them in more of those um more surface states of sexuality. We'll just term it that way. But that is actually something that the masculines are facing. And on the surface in our collective world, we might think, oh, they're over there having fun. But in actuality, at a soul level, it's very painful for the masculines because they're not actually feeling deeply satisfied and supported within those energies. And like I said, it's more surface in keeping them away from their true power and their true heart. So again, regardless of what you're thinking, right? Regardless of the collective 3D programming that tells our society that these quick situationships or surface sexuality are satisfying, and you don't have to go deep or get really involved. Yeah, it sounds like that, but at an energetic level there's still lots of implications that are being experienced energetically that are keeping humans out of their true power and their true ability to create and manifest the life that they want. So, in actuality, in many states, it's creating more um, frequencies of pain and trauma, whether that is being acknowledged or not. It's creating energies of dissociation and distortion away from the true core soul essence. But again, as the sacred divine feminine holds on to her truth. She aligns with her sovereignty. She reclaims her sacred sexual creation energy for herself. She is not only creating that for herself, it is supporting her counterpart. But this is a very exceedingly powerful frequency that is being reestablished on our planet. And there will be more to come with this information. I know actually within this video, I talked about quite a bit of different subjects, but they're all interconnected. I can sort of sense within this topic that it may have opened up more questions and more information that you may be wanting to explore. You can drop those in the comments. You can connect with me for a one-on-one session, of course, if you feel guided, and we can go deeper into your own personal situation with this. Again, I do feel that this is a very, very important subject, especially connected with our sovereignty and our capacity to claim and reclaim our power and create and manifest the life that we are so deeply wanting and deserving, my loves. So if you find yourself in this state of celibacy, I would like you to embrace and embody and allow yourself to get excited about this process, because it does mean that you are up leveling, that you are ready to up level, that you are ready to move into your true organic energies and essences. And it is an exceedingly powerful and sacred time. All right, my loves. Yes, I'm going to leave it here and I will see you soon. Please let me know your questions, your comments, your experiences down in the comments if you feel guided. And I'm sending you so much love through this process, and we will talk very soon. Love you. Bye.